Before we dive into ancient papyri and eyewitness claims of the New Testament, I want to make sure I thank our Patreon supporters. You guys make this possible. And if you're new here, would you consider joining the mission? Each gift helps us uncover more biblical truth buried in history. The link is in the description. Alright. Hats on. Let's talk about papyri. The fragile, faded pages that may just be the best evidence that the New Testament wasn't just a myth written centuries after Christ, but the real eyewitness accounts, copied and spread all while people who knew Jesus were still alive. Let's go find proof in the dirt. New Testament papyri are the oldest handwritten fragments of our New Testament ever found. Many were written on papyrus, an ancient plant-based material used before paper. They were copied and passed among early Christian communities long before leather-bound Bibles ever existed. Some date within 100 years of Jesus' life, and what they reveal, the New Testament was being quoted, copied, and spread in the lifetimes of eyewitnesses. If the story wasn't true, the people alive at the time could have stopped it. But instead, the movement exploded. Most of the earliest New Testament papyri were found in Egypt, a dry climate perfect for preserving fragile materials. Key locations include Oxyrhynchus, a buried garbage heap of ancient manuscripts where over 500,000 fragments were found, many Christian; Fayum, where Papyrus 66, one of the most complete early copies of the Gospel of John, was found; Nag Hammadi, known more for Gnostic texts, but nearby finds include early Christian material. Why Egypt? Well, because Christians fled persecution, and Egypt became a refuge where Scripture was treasured, copied, and preserved. These fragments weren't found in ivory towers. They were found in caves, deserts, and graveyards. Proof in the dirt. Let's look at Papyrus 22, the John Raylands fragment. It contains John chapter 18, verses 31 and 33, where Jesus stands before Pilate. It's dated to around 125 AD, maybe even earlier. That means this gospel was already copied, circulated, and read in Egypt just a few decades after the crucifixion. And then there's P75, a near-complete copy of Luke and John, written around 175 to 225 AD. And the wild thing? The text barely changed compared to later manuscripts. Eyewitnesses don't forget, and copyists didn't rewrite. They preserved what they believed was true. The Gospels don't sound like distant legends. They read like first-hand reporting. As Luke chapter 1 verse 133 says, "I myself have carefully investigated everything from the beginning, so that you may know the certainty of the things that you have been taught." Names, places, distances, cultural references, that's not myth writing. That's someone trying to get it right. These aren't fantasy novels. They're memories of movements that changed history. By 100-150 AD, early Christian fathers were already quoting large portions of the Gospels in Paul's letters. Papias said Mark wrote down Peter's teachings accurately. Irenaeus called the Gospels trustworthy, quoting them as Scripture. Even non-Christian critics like Celsus tried to discredit the resurrection with 100 years of its happening, which means the claims were already public and widespread. If the New Testament was invented centuries later, why were critics fighting it in the first century? The papyri tell a simple story. The Gospels were copied early, quoted widely, preserved carefully, and rooted in eyewitness faith. People died protecting these words because they weren't just parables. They were personal. The Bible didn't survive because it was easy. It survived because it was true. What do you think? Are these ancient pages proof that the Gospels were written by people who saw it happen? Drop a comment below, especially if this changed your way of thinking about Scripture. And don't forget to hit like on the video. And don't forget to subscribe for more archaeological and scriptural finds. And hey, if you want to help this mission going, consider joining us on Patreon, or a one-time gift to help us continue seeking truth and sharing it with those who might be lost. Because we'll keep digging if you'll help us shovel. And stay tuned for our next great find with proof in the dirt.